What's up, friends? In this video we are going to be looking at all the markers and pens and figuring out which highlighter slash marker works best for you in your planner system. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this video. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. Hi, my name is Darian and welcome to DarianPlans. On this channel I share some of my favorite planning and organizational tools, tricks and tips, and some friends as well to help us organize our life and our heart together. So if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss out on future guests and future videos. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the Passion Planner markers, everyone's favorite zebra Mildliners, clean color dot markers, the Sharpie S-Note, the Tombow markers as well today. So the first marker we're going to look at is the Passion marker. It is a dual tip highlighter and it is water-based, bleed resistant, and acid free. And so it has two ends. You see the chiseled end, which you mostly use for highlighting, and then you have a fine tip end that you can write with as well. All right, friends, so these are the Passion markers. They're dual tip highlighters that were actually created by Passion Planner. I love when a company makes their own markers, highlighters, and pens for their own planners. However, I really like these because they are a true highlighter and they're not necessarily a creative marker like we'll see in our Mildliners, Sharpie S, and some of the other markers we'll look at today. The one thing I love about the Passion markers are that they're affordable. They are probably the cheapest option out of all the markers we'll look at today. You can get a 6-pack for $8 or a 12-pack for $15. So you also should know that the colors that you see today are also the only colors that they have available. There's not really, extravagant colors. It's just kind of 12 basic colors. So if you want something that's kind of simple and straight to the point, these are the markers for you. As you can see, they're really light. They're not as pigmented. And there's no shadowing, which is a big plus, and there's no bleed through. So that is always a win. The next markers that we're going to look at are the Tombow markers. They are water resistant and dual tip. They are marketed as like marker pens. And so if you are into like calligraphy or anything like that, you would really like the brush side of it. And then here's the dual side of it, the other side of it. It's like a felt tip. Okay, friends, so the Tombow markers are probably the most fanciest markers that we have because, like I said, they're a brush tip and they're probably the ones that come in the most variety of colors. You can buy a 10-pack usually for about 16 to 17 bucks. You can buy them on Amazon, any arts and crafts store. However, I think there's up to like 96 colors because I know you can get like a 96 pack for like, I think it's like $135 on Amazon. If you're like, I want all the colors. The one thing I do love about these particular markers are that they come with a like dual tip brush felt marker that allows you to blend different colors. So if you are really into stuff like that, you will definitely love these kind of highlighters. And I love that they offer like the nude colors. Like I think the nude colors are so pretty and I see a lot of planner friends using them in their like minimal spreads. There's a little bit of shadowing, but not too much. The next marker that we are going to look at are the Zig Clean Color Dot. They are also dual tip and they have like a ink pad tip on this end because we're going to see how they make perfect dots, which is why they're called the Clean Color Dot. And then on the other end, it's just a plastic kind of nib almost. So we are going to test these out. Okay, there are so many things that I love about this particular marker. It's definitely not meant to be a highlighter. It's definitely a marker. I do see some people use it as a highlighter. I love that it makes the perfect dots. The only place that I have found these particular markers are from Jet Pens. And on Jet Pens, you can get a 4 set for $11 or you can get the complete 12 set for $35. There are only 12 colors available that I am familiar with, and I wish there were so many other colors, but there aren't. However, they are perfect for making the dots. Like I said, they are very pigmented and very, 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 very inky. I love how the fine tip writes. I don't use it as much. However, there is some bleed through and some shadowing, so if you don't like that, you may not like these. I also love that you can buy these for $3 at Jet Pens individually as well. The next marker we are going to look at are the Sharpie S Note Creative Markers, and they are only one-ended and it has a chiseled end, so we are going to test it out. So I have come to learn that either you really love the Sharpie S Note Creative Markers or you do not like them. I love how pigmented and bright these markers are, and I love honestly how affordable they are as well. You can get a 12 count honestly from Amazon, Target, Walmart for about $8, close to $9, and then you can get a 24 count for about $17. I only have the 12 colors shown here, but you know that you can also get them in 12 other colors. Now y'all, there is some bleeding and shadowing, which is why I think some people are not a fan of these markers. However, I actually really like them. The next markers we are going to look at are the famous Zebra Mildliner. They are double-ended. You have a bold end and a fine end. The bold end is a chiseled end like some of the previous markers we looked at. Then your fine tip end is more of like a Sharpie permanent marker end. It's very thick. It's not as fine as some of the other marker. Okay, so the Zebra Mildliners are probably the most well-known markers slash highlighters just in general. They literally, you can find them on Amazon, in your arts and crafts stores. You can even find them at Target now, and they come in different pack sizes. So they're pretty affordable as well. You can get a 5-pack, you can get a 15-pack, you can get a 25-pack. The 25-pack, I believe, is about $25. The 15-pack is usually around about $18, $19, and your 5-pack is usually anywhere between $8 and $10 depending on where you buy them from. I love that the Mildliners are soft, but they're also pigmented. So they're not as thick as your Sharpie S Note. However, they're not as light as your passion markers. I believe they're right there in the middle. Honestly, this is the pack that I recommend to anyone who's getting started with markers and highlighting and creative planning and all that, just because it's nice and you can kind of pick your colors as well. I love that when it comes to the Mildliners, there are multiple ways that you can use them, as with, you know, any of the other markers that we had talked about. With the chiseled end, you can definitely highlight, you can draw lines, you can even write with the chiseled end. You'll also see here with the fine tip end, it's not so fine because it's definitely a dual tip marker versus having a thick marker on one end and kind of a pen texture on the end. So as you can tell, it's not as fine tippy as some of the other markers that we looked at today. However, the colors are absolutely gorgeous, and I mean, I love this pack, and there's no shadowing. Okay friends, we are about to get started with the pen test, and so I grabbed the pink from each marker because this was the only non-nude color that I had, so I figured we would just go with the color pink to kind of test out and see the markers with some of my favorite pens that I use. This would be considered the bolder slash thicker ends of the pens minus the Sharpie S Note, which is only one-sided, so I'm going to put that down, but most of it, as you can see, the Sharpie S Note, the Mildliner, and the Passion marker both have a chiseled end, so you can kind of write with them, but also highlight with them, which make them really great highlighters because of the chisel. And then your color dot has the, you know, circle to make the really like nice circles we talked about. And then your Tombow marker has a brush and for my calligraphy wonderful people. Okay, this would be the fine tip of the markers. As you can see, they all have like a different kind of fine tip. So I would say the clean color dot and the passion marker maybe have the most similar fine tip, and then the Mildliner and the Tombow markers kind of have like a markery fine tip, like while these two right here tend to be like more pen based and these tend to be more marker based. So that's just something to be aware of. Starting with the Le Pen, and then I'm just gonna highlight each one right after it. So I love using a Le Pen because it has a very thin tip, but it writes very thick, it's very pigmented, and it's very inky. You can pretty much get Le Pens on Amazon, your arts and crafts stores. I sometimes buy them individually from Jet Pens or my local bookstore. They're not sold at Target or Walmart, but they are like easily available to you, and they come in so many different colors, which is just a bonus. I'm super excited to see how it does against some of these highlighters. So the passion marker, surprisingly, really didn't have any like shadowing. The Tombow marker seemed to have some shadowing. The clean color dot definitely smeared. The Sharpie S Note did pretty well. The Mildliner held up pretty well too. Now let's look at our Pilot G207. Okay, so the Pilot G207 is pretty much like your basic gel pen. You can get it at Target, all Walmart. Like everybody knows this like pen. It's like a staple. It's a Pilot pen. A lot of people use it. However, as you can tell, it's not the best when it comes to highlighting. Like it takes a really long time for this gel to dry. If you can tell, this probably is not the best pen to use when it comes to highlighting and using markers into our planners. I do not recommend using the Pilot G2 because as you can see, there is literally so much smearing, especially with the Mildliner. Next up, we have the Chic gel pen that we're going to look at. Okay, so I'm such a fan of this cloth and paper pen. It's probably my favorite cloth and paper pen that I have, next to some of the new pens that I got from them. But I love it. It's a gel pen. It has a thin nib in my opinion of thin and thick nibs. However, I just really like how it writes. It writes very, very smooth. I'll make sure I link all the pens that I have and that I'm testing in the description box below where you can get them, and I'll also list all like the markers and highlighters that I'm using as well. I really like this. This is a gel pen and I like it because there's not, the only one that there was like a lot of smearing with was the clean color dot. As you can pretty much tell, this isn't a good necessarily like highlighter, but I mean it makes really, really nice dots. Like that's what I love about this particular marker. There's a little bit of smearing with the Sharpie, and there's a little bit of smearing with the Mildliner. The Tombow marker, because even if you look at the I like that I'm doing the line underneath it because you can see if there's any ink that's left that I can like kind of take out. The passion marker did pretty well. There was like very like not a lot of like smearing at all with the passion marker. Next pen we are going to look at is actually one of my favorites. This is the Micron 08 pen, and I like it because it's really, really thick, and this particular pen comes in a lot of different sizes. So like I said, this is one of my favorite pens because it comes in a variety of sizes. I like getting them really thick because they're very pigmented and juicy, and the words just pop off the page, in my opinion. I do know when I use this pen a lot in my planner, I have to wait a little bit before I start highlighting, and there is some smearing every now and again when I do use this. You can buy these pretty much anywhere as well. I buy them off Amazon. Okay, the Tombow marker did not like this pen, the clean color dot didn't like this pen, and the Mildliner didn't like it right away either. However, the passion markers really, really loved this particular pen, the Micron pen, but you can especially see the bleed through between the clean color dot, the Mildliner, and the Tombow marker. Like these necessarily don't mix when it comes to the Micron pen, so that's so good to know. So now we're going to look at the Pilot. This is the roller ball pen, the Precise V5. And it is like 0.5, so it's a really like fine, it's an extra fine. So like I said, I love when companies, make their own pens or partner with other pen companies to, create their own pens for their planners. This was actually a pen that was created with Emily Lay. These are the pens that a lot of people use in their simplified planners, and I like it. It writes really smooth. It's very simple. You can, however, buy these pens at like your Target store, your Office Depots and stuff like that. Even Amazon too. You can see it smeared a little bit with the passion marker, the Tombow marker, the clean color dot, even with the Sharpie S Note and with the Mildliner. The next pen we're going to be looking at is the Stripe pen from Cloth and Paper, and I just see a lot of people use this one, and I had it in my stash, so let's try it out. So I do believe I got this pen in a particular Cloth and Paper subscription box from like the Penspiration box. I love their Penspiration box. I love finding like new pens and stuff. However, I do know a lot of people who are into minimal planning also gravitate to cloth and paper because they have a really nice neutral aesthetic. And so I really just wanted to test this pen out, especially against the Tombow markers. But you can buy this particular pen off cloth and paper. There was very little smearing with the Passion marker. The Tombow marker always has smearing. The Clean Dot had smearing. The Sharpie S Note, there was a little bit of smearing, and even with the Mildliner. But the Passion marker did really, really well. The next pen we're going to look at is the Sahara Mark-On pen from Zebra, and these were actually pens that were created for highlighters, specifically the Mildliners. So it's going to be really cool to see how this particular pen aligns up with even the other highlighter markers. Okay, so I'm really excited to try the Sahara Mark-On pen, like I said, because it was specifically made for Mildliners by Zebra. So I'm super excited to see how it does with these other markers. The only reason why I haven't used it as much lately was because when I was using it, it would skip. However, it hasn't skipped for me at all. You can buy this pen off Amazon or probably another pen store. This has got to be my favorite. And you can tell, honestly, how good it is because you see how much smearing we usually have with the Clean Color Dot and the Tombow marker. Definitely you still have it with the Clean Color Dot, but you barely have it with the Tombow marker. While I love using this pen, I do know when I first got it, it skipped a lot, but it didn't skip at all when I wrote this out. The next pen that we are going to look at is the Sharpie S Gel pen, and this is the 0.7. Okay, so I'm super excited to try the Sharpie S Gel. It's kind of like a new planner standard. I hear it's very comparable to like the Pilot G207 pen. You can buy this at Target and Walmart and your office stores, and you can even buy them off Amazon. They come in navy and blue. So, well, black as you can see as well. But I'm super excited to see how it does with the highlighter. I'm very excited. There wasn't really like smearing with the Passion marker. There was still a little smearing with the Tombow, the Clean Color Dot, definitely some smearing, but no smearing with really the Mildliner or the Sharpie S Note. The next pen we're going to look at is the Tool pen. This is the retractable gel pen, and this is also 0.7 as well. So I'm super excited to see this compared to the Sharpie 07 gel pen. So okay, all my planner friends have told me over and over again about this gel pen, and I was like, I have got to try it. And I love how it writes. It writes smooth, y'all. It's really inky. I'm very curious to try this test again after letting the ink sit a little bit versus doing it right away because it is so inky. Okay, so this was the Tool pen, and y'all, I love how it writes, but it was so much smearing. Oh, it hurt my heart. Definitely the Sharpie S Gel did so much better when it came to like the markers. This one just, it literally smeared. It reminds me, it's very inky. I love how inky it is, but with more ink comes more smearing. The last pen that I want to test is this is just a regular like standard, like it would be like your standard Bic, like what are they called, like ballpoint, like regular pen. I'm just gonna say regular like ballpoint pen. Okay, so I wanted to include a pen that maybe my non-pen snob people would have, and this is just your regular pen, and I just wanted to try it out. You can get, your standard pens anywhere. I forgot to mention that you can get the Tool pen, on Amazon, Target, any standard office store. Just your regular, like, standard pen, non-gel ink pen. It didn't do bad. The Clean Color Dot, still smearing. Honestly, this is probably, the Sharpie S Gel has probably been the best when it came to the Clean Color Dot, if we're being honest. The Tombow marker looks really good with this as well. So that's something to note if you're just kind of like, I don't use fancy pens, I just use a regular pen. That's something to look at. So let's kind of recap all the pens that we looked at. So we looked at the Le Pen Pilot G207 Cloth and Paper Chic Gel Pen, the Micron 08 pen, the Pilot Precise V5 pen. We looked at the Cloth and Paper Striped pen, the Sahara Mark-On pen, the Sharpie S Gel 07 pen, Tool Retractable Gel pen. Last, we looked at a regular ballpoint pen. Some of the pens that I thought went really well were the Le Pen. The Le Pen, it was a really thick pen, but as you can see, there was barely any smearing when it came to all of the highlighters, even the clean color dot. Another pen that was really well was the Sahara Mark-On pen. I thought it did fantastic. It wasn't a lot of smearing. Then I really liked the Sharpie 07S gel pen as well. There was not a lot of smearing at all when it came to those particular 3 pens. If you like really thick ink and you want a pigmented pen, then I recommend the Le pen. If you're into gel pens, definitely check out the Sharpie S gel pen. And then the Sahara Mark-On, it is a regular, I can't tell if it's a gel pen or just, I can't really tell, honestly. I think it might be a gel pen. I also like the Chic gel pen, but there was a little bit more smearing when it came to the clean color dot, a little bit. So let's look at the Passion marker. When it came to the Passion marker, pretty much all the pens did pretty well. The ones that had the most smearing was the Pilot 07, the Precise V5 pen, the Tool pen had a lot of smearing. When it came to the Tombow markers, a lot of them smeared because those are definitely more marker and pigmented and inky than they are like highlighter. However, the Le pen did really good. The Chic gel pen did awesome. The Sahara Mark-On did really well, and the Sharpie 07S gel did well. And your regular ballpoint pen did well with the Tombow markers. Now, when we look at the clean color dot, honestly, none of the pens did really spectacular. However, if we look at this bottom line where there was less ink, we had less ink when it came to the Le pen, the Chic gel pen, and maybe the Sharpie S gel pen. However, when it comes to the clean color dot, I do not recommend highlighting with it, but they do make awesome dots, which we had shared earlier. When it comes to the Sharpie S creative markers, a lot of the pens did pretty awesome. The only ones that had smearing was, again, the Pilot 07 pen. The Tool pen had some smearing. But other than that, most of them held up pretty well. There was a lot of smearing again with the Pilot 07. There was even some smearing with the Micron pen. There was some smearing with the Pilot, with the cloth and paper, and with the Tool pen. Every other pen pretty much worked really, really well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if it was helpful and you liked it, and make sure you comment below letting me know what is your favorite creative marker or highlighter that you like to use in your planner. Y'all, you can keep up with me at DarianPlans on Instagram for more planner inspiration, and as always, keep planning, and I'll catch y'all next time. Bye. Well, peace.